I had everything prepared, and I did not press the start record button on Ustream, which seems to be working now, though IBM, get your crap sorted.
I know, that's exactly what I was thinking. Ever since IBM took over, I mean, they might have been in the background, but now they're really trying to push their initiative.
Yeah, and yeah, slow
Smarter
performance.
Planet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not,
sure.
well,
Not
not
so
that
smart if it doesn't work for us.
You know, I remember last semester, I had I was with Professor McKnight, and she was struggling to get the computer working because it was just badly set up.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said, "I swear we are being replaced by machines." To which I say to her, "Doing it badly."
Hey, they're still working on Watson.
Yeah, I guess. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, first we have some quite a bit of news to get through today. But we first begin with, yes, that's right, NASCAR news.
I love this song so much.
Unfortunately, it is forever going to be associated with immorality in the forest. That's all we can say.
Absolutely.
Squeal,
no doubt
piggy,
about it.
squeal. Oh dear, I'm maxing that one out. Anyway, so there was a race in NASCAR last weekend. I don't know where it was. I do not give a damn. But what we do care about is because the Twitterverse is going berserk.
Over what?
Apparently, the NASCAR driver, what's his name, Daniel Suarez, has been dumped by his primary sponsor, Subway, because he was doing a bit for NBC, who were broadcasting the race last weekend, and he was distributing Dunkin' Donuts in the NBC press pen, who were a sponsor of the event. So apparently the confliction meant that they dropped his sponsorship.
That's ridiculous.
And if there's one thing about NASCAR fans, is that they are rabid about the sponsors.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely rabid. To the point where they will start drinking a different beer when they start endorsing their favorite driver, and they will boycott a certain product when their sponsor dumps their driver. Well, so first of all, Subway put out a tweet. "You'll need all your teeth for this sandwich," and then there was an image accompanying it. And then somebody on Twitter responded, "And you'll need a Dunkin' Donuts coffee to get the bad taste out of your mouth." And like I said, they just went absolutely rabid.
That's funny. That's very funny.
Yes, "You'll need all your teeth for the sandwich." Then a man says, "Man, I could go for some Dunkin' Donuts right about now. Seeing a random guy with a box of them really makes me not want to eat at Subway." Oh boy, I mean, like I said, this is just
that's
lunacy.
funny.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to get proper. It is time to go to the place where men are men and where gods walk the earth. The great epic world of Formula One.
Well done. 6-1 pickup rubber. Awesome job. Unbelievable. We are world champions! World champions! Keep going
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. Last weekend was the Italian Grand Prix. Now, yes, this song, I know, if there are any Italians out there listening right now, I'm fully aware that this song is from Napoli, and Monza is right next to Milan, which I believe are on completely opposite ends of the country. My Italian geography, she's not so good. But I do believe that this song is actually a great embodiment of the Italian driving passion. How fiercely they love, and how passionately they drive. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. Quick recap. The Autodromo Nazionale Monza was the location of the Italian Grand Prix in the Formula One World Championship. Now, forgot to mention last week that the original banking is still there, and it looked like that they were repaving it. You see, it used to be a big oval, and you had this magnificent parabolic banking on the ends of it. It was truly something. Well, they don't actually race on that thing anymore. And we had 53 laps for a total race distance of 306 kilometers. Now, unfortunately, there was rain. Lots and lots of rain.
I don't know how I didn't get this. I guess, my Formula One app isn't updating because I have reset my phone.
Okay. Well, what happened on Saturday qualifying was that there was a huge rain delay, and then, of course, when they were actually out, nobody was performing correctly. And then you had penalties out the wazoo. The track was just a mess. And here's something interesting of note. Now, the lap record at this place is 121.046, set by Rubens Barrichello in 2004. Well, the fastest lap of the race was set by Daniel Ricciardo with 1:23.361. The record is still intact. That, I think, is a very, very interesting thing. We will get more into detail about that. So here's what happened in qualifying. You had a absolute mess of qualifying because cars were not performing correctly because it was a wet track. So Lewis Hamilton took pole, followed by Max Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo, and then quite a few others. However, in addition to the weird performance, you had lots of penalties that were going out the wazoo. For instance, so here were people who were penalized for additional power unit elements, meaning that they had exceeded their yearly allotment of particular parts of the engine, so therefore they were getting penalized for every component they had to use. Fernando Alonso, 35 places. Ricciardo, 20 places. Verstappen, 20. Sainz, 10. Hülkenberg, 10. Palmer, 15. And Van Dorn, 25. And then Daniel Ricciardo for Red Bull was penalized an additional 5 places for an unscheduled gearbox change.
Oh,
Perez and Grosjean were penalized 5 places for unscheduled gearbox changes as well. I mean, so that means your starting grid, you had Lewis Hamilton still in the front, and then next to him was Lance Stroll of Williams Mercedes.
What?
And
oh
then,
my goodness, that's
and then
so
you had
funny.
Esteban Ocon of Force India, and then you had Valtteri Bottas, and then this is absolutely tragic. Oh, get the big wide world going for me, please.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ferrari at Italy, at Monza, their home place, in front of thousands of rabid Ferrari-loving Italians, they came in 5th and 6th in qualifying.
Oh, man.
Say something.
This is tragic. I mean, Ferrari is supposed to be a big powerhouse, and yet here they couldn't. I mean, yes, the rain probably messed with them, but still. All right, that's enough. We had to deploy, but we had to kill it.
Plenty
Yeah.
of that.
And then in 7th position, you had Massa, then Kvyat, Magnussen, Perez, Ericsson, Wehrlein, Verstappen, Hülkenberg, Sainz, Ricciardo, Palmer, Van Dorn, Alonso, and then Roman Grosjean and Haas did not finish qualifying, so he started at the rear because he crashed out during qualifying. I mean, that was then his crash brought out the red flag, which caused like an hour and a half delay for qualies. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, as you all heard, the grid was an absolute mess. Now let us get right into it and go through it. So the lights went off, the flag dropped, Lewis Hamilton got away quickly, but Kimi Raikkonen was very quick to catch up to the two bizarros in the 2nd and 3rd positions. And then, of course, Raikkonen was absolutely fierce on Lance Stroll, trying to come in, but he was also contending with Valtteri Bottas for control, and there was some weird contact, because that first corner is absolutely vicious. And then as they cleared that first opening chicane and came to the first major corner, Hamilton was far and away, followed by Ocon, Stroll, then Raikkonen was able to pass Valtteri Bottas, and then he was able to put Bottas into 5th, followed by Vettel, Massa, Wehrlein, Perez, and Magnussen, and our co-worker is getting his meal delivered to him. Wow, yes, God bless the ROTC and never leave a man behind. So like I said, it was actually almost a foregone conclusion when Hamilton got to the front. So I believe that we could have had better performance from the Ferraris had the two outliers not been in the front. I mean, like I said, this was just the strangest beginning we ever saw. And of course, in the first opening corner, there was quite a bit of contact. We had Felipe Massa, who made contact with the Force India of, I believe that is Sergio Perez.
He blew his wheel off.
Well, not
Or the
quite.
tire.
Not quite. He lost a wing element. But, however, as the first lap was approaching its end, Valtteri Bottas tried to make a move on Kimi Raikkonen, and he got through on the main front straight.
It's a very thin course, not very wide.
It's not very wide, and this is a power track, and we will go more into details to what that actually means. So by second lap, Hamilton was still leading, followed by Ocon, Stroll, and then Bottas, Raikkonen, and Vettel. I mean, it was actually bizarre. I mean, we never saw a starting grid like this in quite a while. I mean, it's amazing what a rainy qualifying day can do to you. So, but then of course the DRS opened up very, very soon, and so therefore the passing became more vicious. And then there was also a bit of contact between Max Verstappen, who unfortunately had absolute collision with a radio transmission.
We have damage. Yeah, I think so. Fuck so.
Yeah, so by third lap, Max Verstappen hit Felipe Massa, and that cost him the race. His front wheel was completely
That thing was
destroyed.
destroyed, man.
Indeed it was, but Sebastian Vettel made a pass onto Lance Stroll, and he made the pass. And then he also got past...
So far we've seen no issues on data, Kimmy.
Yeah, I really need to practice these things a bit more. And then we had some vicious battles between Fernando Alonso and Jolyon Palmer, to the point where Palmer got forced off the track, and probably even gained an unfair advantage. Lap 16.
Would you say that he would have gotten a penalty for that, or did he
He
not?
might have. We will get there.
Gotcha.
Kimi Raikkonen went into the pits in lap 16, being the first man to the pit, presumably because there was a problem with the car. And Lance Stroll pitted as well. He was in and out on lap 18. And as I said, it was actually really hard to keep track of this race because, unfortunately, with a track like this, engine power means a lot. It's really down to the engine because it's not a lot of downforce at work, so therefore you have a lot of engine. The engine provides more of an advantage because there's quite a few long straights and it's a low downforce track.
So therefore, Mercedes is at the advantage.
Yes, they are,
And
unfortunately.
Ferrari, they've been doing pretty well.
Yeah, they have been doing pretty well, but unfortunately things are starting to level off.
Alone now. I like him vulnerable.
That was Daniel Ricciardo saying that he likes his opponents vulnerable. Lap 26, this was Kimi Raikkonen who made the pass on Esteban Ocon at Force India, and he passed through, securing his position, advancing to 6th position. So by lap 26,
And Fernando Palmer has retired.
we will go into detail about that message because it was absolutely magnificent. What happened was Jolyon Palmer, who gained an unfair advantage in the chicane, had to retire his car. So and at some point, Stoffel Van Dorn dropped out as well. Daniel Ricciardo tried to make a pass on Kimi Raikkonen, and it was a vicious fight, and he succeeded.
Next one up the road is Vettel. Vettel is a bit slow. I think you're going to catch him.
And then Fernando Alonso, in traditional McLaren fashion this year, retired the car.
Oh, man.
Yes, I mean, this is just pitiful. And then by lap 53, Lewis Hamilton won, followed by Valtteri Bottas, and then in 3rd position was Sebastian Vettel. Now, will we get the audio? I should know this. I should have watched this whole clip through, but let's just say it was not a warm reception when it came time. And then in the final moments, Felipe Massa tried to make a final battle on his teammate Lance Stroll. Could he advance one more position for 7th position? But then, of course, right behind them was Sergio Perez in his Force India. Will he come up to the battle? Unfortunately, he did not. It looks like they're coming out of the Parabolica from the replay. No, they're in the Parabolica right now, but unfortunately, they just couldn't quite mix up the order. Lance Stroll took 7th position, followed by Massa, and then Perez in 9th. And, oh, for heaven's sake, we just lost the
did that
DSM
happen?
server. I don't know. Well, regardless, and then, of course, as I said, Lewis Hamilton won, followed by Valtteri Bottas and Sebastian Vettel. Now, there was a Ferrari on podium, much to the jubilation of the Italians, and then, of course, as Lewis Hamilton came out, they booed him. They do not like foreign manufacturers, and they certainly don't like Lewis Hamilton, as far as I can tell.
Thank goodness.
Yes, and then followed
Calm
by...
down that ego.
And then in 4th position was Daniel Ricciardo, followed by Kimi Raikkonen, Ocon, Stroll, Massa, Perez, Verstappen, Magnussen, Kvyat, Hulkenberg, Sainz, Grosjean, Verline, Alonso, Ericsson, and Van Dorn. So, Fernando Alonso, dead on lap 50. Marcus Ericsson, dead on lap 49. Stoffel Van Dorn, dead on lap 33. And then Jolyon Palmer, dead on lap 29.
Just a disaster of a race.
Yeah, it was. Now, here's the problem that I have with this track. Actually, we'll get into detail there. Now, Lewis Hamilton is now in the lead in the Drivers' Championship with 238 points. Sebastian Vettel is now in 2nd, but he is not terrified. He's not feeling pressure just yet. He has 235. That is a 3-point difference. And then Valtteri Bottas follows with 197. Daniel Ricciardo, 144. We don't need to know the rest of the ranks. Well, Kimi Raikkonen has 138, and for some reason they've decided to sign him on again. Now, I've been consulting the points calculator. Now, again, things are subject to change.
Especially since it's so early on.
Well, not really. There's only about maybe 7 races left.
Oh.
But with a competition this fierce, that can be anything. And yes, watch your soda out there, young man.
Oh, man.
So I've concluded. Here's what I project. Now, so the final races are Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, the US, Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. Sebastian Vettel, I believe, will win in Singapore because that is a real driver's track. There's not enough straights for the engines to do their magic, so I believe Sebastian Vettel can win that one.
Absolutely.
Malaysia, Sebastian Vettel has won there in a Ferrari 2 years ago. I don't actually remember what the outcome was last year, only that Lewis Hamilton's engine caught fire.
Oh, we remember that for sure.
So I do believe that Sebastian Vettel can win that one because Icarus lives in Malaysia, I believe.
I can't wait to see what happens.
So I believe though he has those two wrapped up. And then the rest of them, I have concluded that if he can win in Singapore, Malaysia, and in 2 other locations, and so long as he comes in second place in the final 3 locations being Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi, he can win by 4 points over Lewis Hamilton. But like I said, it is very fluid. But I mean, then again, as I said, for all we know, Icarus could strike Lewis Hamilton in Malaysia, in which case that heavily secures Sebastian Vettel's lead.
I'd love to see that.
There could be, and Japan could be a wet race where Sebastian Vettel could shine and Lewis Hamilton could, I don't know, maybe he contracts some radiation poisoning. I don't know.
Malaria.
Or maybe Kim Jong-un will destroy the place, and that will mean there's one less race, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah.
But point is, as I said, what so far it looks to me, Sebastian Vettel is allowed to come in second 3 times, if assuming Lewis Hamilton wins it instead. He's allowed 3 more. He's allowed 3 more second place finishes, as long as he wins all the others. As I said, it's going to be a fierce fight. But it's not going to be a fierce fight. However, in the constructors, Mercedes, unfortunately, I think they almost have it sewn up with 435 points versus Ferrari's 373. Now, Sebastian Vettel is doing well, but as I said, things have to happen. I believe 2 things have to happen if Ferrari really want a chance at the constructors. Lewis Hamilton has to break down,
and
Kimi Räikkönen has to pick his game up.
Yes.
And I do not think he can do that
I do
because
not
it's
think so
Kimi
either.
bloody Räikkönen, and they signed the man on again for another year. I don't know why they decided to do that. Now, here's the thing I might complain about Italy, Monza in particular. It's not an exciting track. It just isn't. The straights are too long. The Parabolica is one thing, but ultimately it's down to the engines. Now, I do know of an alternative where I think they should hold it. I've played it all the time in Forza, and I like to listen to that song we had in the beginning as I drive a Ferrari around that track. And I have some onboard footage.
Yeah.
I would like to take you to Mugello. Now, we are going to ride on board with Robert Kubica, who there's a lot of promising rumors saying that he will be back in Formula 1 next year because he used to drive quite a bit. He did a bit of rallying, and now he's doing quite a bit in sports car racing. I believe we are riding on board at Mugello in a Mercedes SLS racer.
Ooh.
So he's coming down the main straight. So this is the track I'm hoping to go to. He comes back on the main straight, but then he breaks down for a really, really long but tight right-hander. In fact, the car is struggling to get grip as he comes around, then swings around that corner. But then after a brief straight, it breaks into a hard left into a long, hard right. So that is like a really interesting chicane complex. He's back on a straight. He's going to break down hard to go hard left into an immediate right. So that is a pretty big chicane he goes through. And now he's back on the power again. The track is going to crest downward, and there is a short, tight right-hander, which goes into a long, tight left-hander. Well, it's not really too tight. Like, he is able to fly through this thing, because he's able to just lift off and go through. And then there's a right-hander with a lot of fantastic banking to aid through those corners. It would be a fantastic drive Formula 1 car in here. Followed into another hard right-hander. He's on the power again, and that's going to feed into another right-hander. He just comes over and down on a crest. The track is running downhill. He's now going into a hard left, scrapes on the left side, and then unwinds on the right. There's another brief straight. He's just gone through a dip, and now he comes over a slight crest, and that is a really, really tight right-hander. It's tight. He's still in it. He is yet to actually unwind, and now he's unwinding, but he doesn't actually go all the way out onto the hard side because he has to line up for a left-right chicane complex, a very gentle one. So they could probably fly through this one on maybe 6th gear in a Formula 1 car, and then he's going to go into a hard, long left-hander. It's a really tight left-hander, actually. It's tight, but it's very, very long. He has to ride that thing and commit. Gets back on the power one more time, and now he's on the main straight. So I believe that would make for a far more exciting track over Monza. Because
So where is this?
This is Mugello.
That's right.
It is available in Forza. Yes, and now it is time to go through the best of the audio from Italy.
Let's hear it.
So we start with Daniel Kvyat in free practice 1. He's locked up.
Okay, we don't have any rain from the stewards, but understood.
Well, I believe what I see.
Apparently his pit crew does not believe that there is rain on the track. Kimi Raikkonen in Q1. Kimi Raikkonen's in the box. He's about to come out, but he almost gets swiped by Force India. An unsafe release.
Sent me straight into the side of the car. I just managed to make it.
The front left caliper was on fire. We wanted to get the fire out with the air.
So they wanted to get the car out quickly because his brake was on fire. So they
That's right.
Yes.
I saw that.
Max Verstappen on lap 3 after his contact with Felipe Massa at the first chicane.
Well, damage. Yeah, I think so. Fuck there. Oh, what is he doing?
And his wheel was just absolutely obliterated. Nico Hulkenberg by lap 11 had this to say in regards to... He's complaining about no balance.
What?
Your radio's still on.
Fernando Alonso, lap 15, 20, and 39. This is a long saga. First, he got ran off track by Jolyon Palmer, while Jolyon Palmer cut a chicane and gained advantage.
He needs to give me back the position. Got the chicane.
Then later,
5-second penalty.
5 seconds, it's a joke.
he's not happy that's only 5 seconds. A
Yeah,
joke,
we're
he
not
says.
we can't do anything apart from give it everything maximum pace.
What a joke. The 5 seconds.
Fernando Alonso is not a happy camper here, that's for
No,
sure.
Chris.
Where's Palmer?
And Fernando Palmer has retired.
Karma.
Karma, I love that.
Yes, and then Daniel Ricciardo on lap 18 in regards to... What is this? Ah, yes, I remember this one.
Next on ahead is Massa. Massa's next. He is alone now. Vulnerable.
He likes his opponent's vulnerable. Oh, we have another DRM error. Reload your screen or select a different video.
Digital rights management. Maybe they can hear us broadcasting what they're saying and they don't like it.
I guess. Or maybe they were not happy about me having it buffering in my video for so long.
Yeah, that might be it.
Yeah, but well, we should keep an eye on this. Actually, I'll be curious to know what happens.
5 seconds.
So as we advance back to where were we? The video is buffering. Oh, screw it. This we're abandoning this. Oh wait, lap 18, Daniel Ricciardo, back to where we were.
Next on ahead is Massa.
Next one ahead is Massa. Massa's next. He is done right now, and the video is still buffering. What are you looking on at your phone?
I'm finding a funny meme I found about Formula One.
Well, hold off on that for a bit, please, because I think you might be buffering our video.
No, I'm not even on the Wi-Fi.
Okay, Roman Grosjean on lap 34 in regards to a near brushing with a Red Bull. His brakes just smoking.
What was that? He's just turning to me. Again.
Yes, that was a complaint about Max Verstappen, who just cut in front of him in a very ballsy move. Kevin Magnussen on lap 47 and 49.
What is he doing? Pushing me off the track. That was crazy, guys.
I think that was Max Verstappen. I mean, that
Guys, I'm serious. If that is allowed, it's crazy, man. It can't be allowed. Copy that. Reporting to Charlie.
Yes, and what does Charlie... Yeah, that was just a very ballsy move. Probably wasn't the safest thing. All right, what's this meme that you have found?
I'm still looking for it. Trust me, I've got it somewhere. It was comparing two of the transmissions from two different... Oh, man, where is this? Yeah. If I can't find it in the next minute, I'm not...
Anyways, now, another interesting factoid. I won't even bother with this. Special guests in the McLaren garage was Kit Harington, the King of the North, and Liam Cunningham, a.k.a. Sir Davros Seaworth. That's right, you had 2 Game of Thrones stars in the pits.
Oh, that's
yes,
pretty
you
funny.
did.
I'm not a big fan of that in general, but it's that's still pretty cool.
It was absolutely magnificent to see them in there. Now, Liam Cunningham was definitely the man who was really, really into it. Like, when he was being interviewed by our NBCSN's man in the pits, Will Buxton, he was just so passionate about it, and I'm gonna guess Kit Harington was his +1. Now, we have the image to remind me that it's here. Well, he is wearing my watch. Liam Cunningham has my watch. He has a Tag Heuer Monaco. It's an absolutely beautiful watch. Yes, indeed. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, so that wraps it up for Italy. Now, next week is... Well, there's nothing happening next week. But the weekend after is Singapore. This is the site of the greatest scandal in modern Formula One history. When you're racing, you have to be on the lookout for both man and lizard.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
And this is also a place where even though it's at night, you'll be boiling your ass off. For this is the most interesting Grand Prix in the world.
I like the music. Very appropriate.
Indeed. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be Singapore in 2 weeks. We will have more details on that next week. Now, it occurred to me, last week was Belgium, and then this week was Italy. But something we forgot on each point was the big quiz. We did not do the Formula
You're
1
right,
big
we
quiz.
didn't.
So we are going to go backwards a bit. We are going to start with last week's big quiz in Italy. Okay, now, give it to me.
All right, Peter. Okay, so, Peter,
Yes.
who crashed out of third place on the last lap of the 2009 race at Monza?
My options?
You have Jenson Button, Fernando Alonso, Kimi Räikkönen, and Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, 2009. I'm gonna say...
Yeah, who crashed out of third place?
He crashed
No,
out...
no. Out of third place on the last lap.
He crashed out third place last lap. I'm gonna say Lewis Hamilton, because he was a bit ballsy in those days.
Let's see what we got. You are correct.
Yeah.
Britain was pushing hard to catch Jenson Button in the second when he lost control at the Lesmos.
Wait, hang on. Let me see. What is the... Yes, at the Lesmos. Yes, it's Italian.
Alright, so the 1971 Monza race saw the closest finish in F1 history, with the first 5 drivers across the line separated by just 0.61 seconds.
Jesus.
But who won? Was it Ronnie Peterson, Peter Getrin,
Yes.
Francois
Sever.
French Sever, or Mike Halewood?
Okay, hang on.
an
With
old
the
race.
the first 5 drivers across the line separated, but who won? If it's 71, I'm gonna say Francois Sever.
Let's see how it goes. You were wrong. It's
Peter
okay.
Peter Gerthen. Damn.
It was the Britain's only F1 win. That's funny, actually. All right, so Kimi Räikkönen has never won in Italy. True or false?
I'm gonna say true.
You are correct. Räikkönen has reached the podium 3 times in Italy, but has finished no better than second. He's not been on the rostrum at Monza since 2009. Poor guy.
Damn. And he's standing with. Yes, that looks like Rubens Barrichello and Jenson Button from the BAR days. I'm guessing. Yes. Next is.
In what year did Christian Fittipaldi famously backflip across the finish line after contact with Minardi teammate Pierluigi Martini?
Pierluigi Martini. Jeez. Okay.
Man, these are some names.
Oh God. Okay. So
92, 93, 94, 95.
Christian Fittipaldi backflipped across. Okay, I'm going. If it's judging by the picture and the build of the cars. Oh God. I'm gonna say 92.
You say 92?
Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
92.
93, you were close. The Brazilian escaped unharmed, being classified in 8th. Hey, at least he finished.
That is true.
That's
That's
funny.
kind of amazing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so traffic lights don't work, man. Beep, traffic lights. Who said this over the team radio after being delayed in the pits during last year's race in Italy?
Oh.
So that could be a couple of these guys. It's either Fernando Alonso, Daniel Kvyat, Sergio Perez, or Kimi Räikkönen.
I do not know. The only one who I can think of who would say man in that context might be Sergio Perez because he's North American. I'm saying Sergio Perez, and he's a bit of a whiner as well.
I'm gonna say Räikkönen, but let's see. Oh, it's Alonso.
Oh damn.
A 5.3 second stop didn't exactly go down well with the Spaniard. The cause, McLaren's automatic traffic light system didn't change from red, keeping Alonso waiting.
Damn.
Alright, so Niki Lauda famously returned to action at the 1976 Italian Grand Prix just over a month after his near-fatal crash in Germany. But where did the Australian finish at Monza?
Austrian.
Austrian.
You said Australian.
Austrian. They're not that far.
Are you kidding me?
I'm kidding.
Oh, I'm gonna say 6th place. I think it was 6th place Niki Lauda finished.
The options are 4th, 6th, 8th, and 10th,
I think
and you're
it's
gonna say
6th,
6th.
yeah.
Let's see.
4th
was the answer.
Damn, that was even better than I
4th was
thought.
1 place higher than he qualified. Title rival James Hunt failed to finish.
Ah, yes.
That's a weird looking car.
Oh yeah, the 70s were. You still have yet to see Rush.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what? Being as how I'm staying late on campus so bloody often, we may as well just watch it before my labs.
We'll see about that. All right. Sergio Perez finished 2nd for Sauber in Monza in 2012. But in what position did he start the race?
I'm gonna. Oh damn. 2012. I'm gonna say 10th.
I'm thinking 10th also. It was 12th. The Mexican's Monza podium was his 3rd and final one that year.
Oh damn.
All right. So who did Sauber's Felipe Nasser tangle with at the first chicane on the second lap of last year's race?
Oh.
Is that Nico Hulkenberg, Julian Palmer, Kevin Magnussen, or Marcus Ericsson?
I'm gonna say Marcus Ericsson. I think it was Marcus Ericsson because we have not seen him.
It was Julian Palmer.
Damn.
But it looks like a lot of people also guessed Marcus Ericsson too. So both drivers ultimately retired from the race because of collision damage, which you might have been thinking of.
Damn.
Who was the last Italian driver to finish the top 10 at Monza? Was it Jarno Trulli? Oh man, these are Italian.
Jarno Trulli, Giancarlo Fisichella, Tonio Luizzi, or Luca Bador. Oh, damn.
These are really Italian names.
I'm gonna say Jarno Trulli.
All right, let's see. You were wrong. It was
Giancarlo Fisichella. Fisi did it in 2009, finishing 9th in his first outing for Ferrari, though in those days that was just outside the points. All right, next one, the final question.
Ferrari have only missed the podium once at their home in the last 5 years. When?
12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Oh, I'm going to say...
It wasn't in the last 2 years,
I'm going to say 14 because that was a really that was
a bad year for Ferrari.
It was a year of bloodletting at the factory, yes.
Let's see.
14.
You are correct. Fernando Alonso retired while Kimi Räikkönen could only manage in 9th.
Yes. I mean, that was the first year of the V6s, and it was a lot of teething problems for all the teams, but for Ferrari, that was a year of bloodletting.
I'm sure Ferrari's not used to making V6s.
Within the first 3 races, I believe that their technical director, Stefano Domenicali, basically resigned.
Oh man, because it was so bad.
Yes, the CEO of Ferrari, Luca de Montezemolo, walked out during the finale during a race in Abu Dhabi.
Wow.
And then of course you had a we just looked him up, and he was gone by the end of the year. Yeah. So all right. So how badly? What's the damage?
3 out of 10. You're a solid midfield runner.
All right.
Peter,
next
that's
tab,
you.
it's time to do Belgium, and we're gonna leave the Pavarotti on because I can't think of anything that lasts long enough that's Belgian.
Yeah, me neither.
So the big quiz for Belgium.
So this year's race will be the 50th Belgian Grand Prix held at the fabulous Spa-Francorchamps.
Good.
But how far does your knowledge of the event stretch? It's time to dust off your thinking cap for another slice of quiz action.
All right,
let's begin. So, which driver was handed a 1-race ban for causing a multi-car collision at the start of the 2012 race in Belgium? Was it Sergio Perez, Romain Grosjean, Vitaly Petrov, or Bruno Senna?
I think it was Romain Grosjean.
All right, I didn't know that other Senna existed.
Yes, yeah, he's
the
son.
Oh, look at that.
Now, I actually saw that one on TV.
That's crazy.
And I do, actually, going through the replays, I actually believe it was really Lewis Hamilton's fault, but ultimately, Romain Grosjean was driving for Lotus, and he was the one that almost decapitated Fernando Alonso in the Ferrari. But technically it was Hamilton's fault, but yeah, whatever. Romain Grosjean was given the race ban.
All right, so in the last 10 years, who are the only team other than Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren to have taken pole in Belgium?
Ooh, okay.
So in the last 10 years, the only team other than Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, or McLaren. I want to say Williams, but
I think it might actually be Renault.
That being said, I don't know.
I'm gonna say Renault because they were still a factory driver.
It was Force India, really.
Force India.
So it says here, Giancarlo
Fisichella, I think.
I think too. Took surprise pole position for Force India in 2009 before finishing 2nd in the race.
Mm-hmm.
So, apart from Spa-Francorchamps, how many other venues have hosted the Belgian Grand Prix? Was it no others, 1, 2, or 3?
I'm going to say no others.
Let's see. It was 2.
Oh.
So, Nivelle has hosted 2 races in 72.
Nivelle, yes.
Nivelle has hosted 2 races in 1972 and 74. And Zolder,
yes,
pictured above.
It's Flemish. The first one's French.
10 races, and that was 73, and then 75 through 82, then 84. So it was at other places for a while, huh?
I see.
All right, so a post-race time penalty dropped Lewis Hamilton from 1st to 3rd in the 2008 Belgian Grand Prix. Who inherited victory as a result?
2008, okay.
So was that Fernando Alonso, Felipe Massa, Kimi Räikkönen, or
Heikki Kovalainen. Heikki Kovalainen.
If
If you have a penchant for Finnish drivers, you should learn to speak Finnish. Heikki Kovalainen. Say it.
Heikki Kovalainen.
Good man.
Heikki Kovalainen.
I'm gonna say it's 2008. I'm gonna say Fernando Alonso because I believe Alonso was driving for McLaren then.
Let's see. It's Felipe Massa. The Brazilian's unlikely victory moved him to within 2 points of the title rival Hamilton in the driver's standings. Wow. So, Michael Schumacher holds the record for winning from the lowest grid slot in Spa. Where did he start in the 1995 Belgian Grand Prix from? 10th, 12th, 14th, or 16th?
Oh, I'm going to be generous. I'm going to say 16th. And he crawled all the way up there.
You're correct.
Yes!
Schumacher sliced through the field in wet conditions.
He is Michael Schumacher.
He's
can
a
do
legend,
anything.
isn't he?
Yes, he is.
All
and
right.
last I heard, he's still hospitalized following that.
Ah, that's a shame. All
Yeah,
right.
we've not heard anything from him.
So, no Belgian has ever finished on the podium at his home race. True or false?
I'm going to say true.
Let's see. It is false. Paul Frere
Frere.
in 1956 and Oliver Grenbein in 1960.
And Jackie X.
Jackie X
Oh, God.
scored a podium win
I didn't know.
each at home.
I thought Jackie X was something weirder than Belgian.
What gets weirder than Belgium? They've got the weirdest waffles.
No, don't you say crap about Belgian waffles.
They're
man.
my favorite, but they're still weird.
No. The only because you're not used to something other than Eggo, I believe, which
Yeah,
are the ludicrously thin.
absolutely.
All right. So next up is
Whose heavy crash at Yao
Au Rouge and Radion.
Rouge and Redion on lap 6 caused last year's race to be red flagged? Was it Marcus Ericsson, Jenson Button, Felipe Nasser, or Kevin Magnussen?
How do I not remember this? I think. No. How do I not remember
Just
this? I should
last
know
year.
this.
Look at that crash. Looks like you went right into it.
I'm gonna say, Magnussen. I'm gonna say, no. I'm gonna say, Ericsson. Ericsson is my final answer. Marcus Ericsson.
All right, let's see.
I should know.
It was Kevin
Dang,
Magnussen.
It was Magnussen.
The Dane escaped a 180-mile-an-hour crash with a sore ankle.
Just goes to show
Wow.
how.
Look at that
just-
car. I mean, for all of you out there that
Yeah,
are listening to us,
He's
you know,
plowing
every one
in.
of you.
He's plowing into this barricade, nose first, and the front spin completely berated. I am amazed. I don't remember this. I really
That's
am.
insane.
I'm amazed. I don't remember this.
All right, let's go next. So, which of these teams did not take their maiden win on Belgian soil? Was it Eagle, Brabham, McLaren, or Jordan?
Did not take their maiden
Brabham.
win.
I think it's Brabham.
Brabham, yeah. Wait. Which of these teams did not take their maiden win? I see. I see the question. I'm gonna guess Eagle because I believe that was an American team and they just don't really have much of it. I think
Poor
they're American.
Eagle.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
say Eagle.
they're American.
Brabham.
Eagle 1967 and McLaren in 68 and Jordan in 98 all won for their first time at Spa. Brabham's first win came at the 1964 French Grand Prix.
Okay.
Yeah, Eagle made the Talon. That
Wow.
ugly-looking Mercedes Eclipse ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, between 62 and 65, Jim Clark won 4 successive Belgian Grand Prix.
It's a Grand Prix. It's
Grand Prix.
plural and singular.
Sheep. Who is the only other driver to have won 4 in a row at the legendary Spa-Francorchamps? Was it Alain Prost? Alain Prost, Michael Schumacher, Ayrton Senna. Oh, yeah, the old Senna. Or Kimi Räikkönen.
Okay. Jim Clark won 4 successive Belgian Grand Prix. He was the only other driver to have won 4 in a row.
It's not Kimi Räikkönen.
I'm gonna say Alain Prost. No, it's either Senna or Prost. Oh God, this is a tough contender. I'm not okay. It's not Raikkonen. I'm gonna say Ayrton Senna because he was the man. He was the magic man. I'm gonna say Senna.
You are correct.
Yes!
Senna won at Spa 5 times in total, including 4 successive wins between 88 and 91. Very nice. Michael Schumacher, your man, is the only driver to clinch the Drivers' World title on Belgian soil. True or false?
I'm gonna say true. What the hell?
It is true. The German legend clinched a record 7th world title at Spa in 2004 after finishing 2nd behind Kimi Räikkönen.
All right, so next week, don't let me forget to do the big quiz for Singapore. Now
I will
let's see
not.
how I did.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be some lizard questions. You got a 4 out of 10. I thought you did better than that. You did better than that, I
No,
thought.
4 out of 10. That seems correct.
That's better than last time.
Indeed. Anyway, so final. Now other little bits of news. Now final Formula One piece of news. They've opened up an F1 2017. The game is going to have an esports series.
I got the notification on my computer.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to register for a chance to get into the esports action, you have 6 days, 5 hours, 57 minutes, and 5 seconds to register. So enter by creating your F1 esports account, connect your esports account to Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, or Steam. take part in online qualifying events with F1 2017. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Then presumably, oh yes, and then the inaugural F1 Esports Series will be crowned at the 2017 Formula One Etihad Airways Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Over 2 days of white-hot competition, the 20 finalists will be put to the test as the world watches to see who is really the best of the best.
Hey, hot is for sure. That place is not cold.
Indeed. Alright, so anyways, now let us get to some news. Nissan has accidentally tweeted out a link to Nissan.com. Oh, you know the story of Nissan.com.
No, I don't.
Well, Nissan.com is still active. This is what Nissan.com looks like.
Nissan Motors lawsuit against us.
Ladies, all right, what happened? All right, here is the story from
It's
Wikipedia.
spelled the same, isn't it?
All right, here's what happened. In 1980, a man named Uzi Nissan founded the Nissan Foreign Car Company, an automobile service in Raleigh, North Carolina. Then in 87, Uzi Nissan founded Nissan International. And then an import. Well, okay, sorry, you don't need to know this crap. What happened was, he started a computer company selling computer parts and some online services. And this was in the 90s, the early days before he had a search engine. And, like, that was his name, Uzi Nissan. And so he created Nissan.com. And then, here is the case. Nissan Motors considered Nissan Computer's use of the name to be trademark dilution and laid claim to the domain by alleging cyber squatting. However, Nissan Computer was named after its owner, Uzi Nissan. Following the outcome of the case, Nissan Motors uses the name NissanUSA.com for its US site.
That's hilarious.
And there was also good news on the horizon.
Ooh, I like
TVR is back!
I'm
They're
so
coming
happy.
back!
I'm so happy. I always love driving their cars in Gran Turismo.
Indeed they are, and they have some new, and they have a new car posted. Like, they are slowly but surely they are going to be coming out.
It's so good looking.
In fact,
dude.
their car is going to be revealed this Friday at Goodwood Revival in Britain. So
I'm excited.
we will have updates for you next week and see how it looks. I am
so excited.
as am I. And then also now, speaking of the now as we know, there was a hurricane.
Oh yeah, there's another one. And
Yeah, there's another one coming.
And another one.
The NOAA have just posted video from their hurricane chasing aircraft, and they have video inside, like they are flying through this thing.
So I see
So
a bunch of meters, a bunch of computers.
A lot of
and
old, really big old Sony
And you look
CRT
out the
displays.
window.
It is
Oh
just
my goodness.
exactly
It
like
looks
it's-
like a storm.
well, they are flying through a storm.
It's a storm.
Now they are at high altitude, so wind resistance is low, and they're not going that fast, like 150 knots or so. But still, it is quite
That's a stuff storm.
indeed. And there's also an additional footage from the cockpit where they actually flew into the eye of the storm, and
Oh, I always think that's so cool to do.
exactly. I mean, the thing is that yeah, you're going to be having harsh winds around, but I'm not sure what exactly is happening to the eye. But on the ground, it is really, really peaceful. So they come out, and they are flying inside the eye. So we are looking at their video, which has the facing forward out of the cockpit, and it is like a wall of cloud. It is truly
I mean,
magnificent.
they're going what, like 150 knots? You said.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it looks like they're barely floating through these clouds. They're so humongous. I mean, they are. It's insane.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we actually got through pretty well. We're right on the 45 mark.
Oh yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the questions now stand. Who will prevail in the Formula One World Championship? Who will win in Singapore? Will Icarus have his revenge in Malaysia? There's only one person who knows. Only time. That's our show. No. Keep turn it off.
Two exams have you down and the weather got you.
Thank you. Apologies.